Welcome to WRM, Work Relationships Matter. I'm your host, the Edward Jones, a certified life coach. You can find me at prodestinycoaching.com. Now, no matter what type of work you do, work relationships matter. Nen Huang, oncology nurse, holistic coach, and aromatherapist, is here today to share her thoughts and experiences that will be beneficial to you. Welcome, Nen.
Thank you.
It's good to have you. Actually, good to have you back. And we're going to learn more about the things that you do and how you help people. But before we go there, I like a little bit of backstory. Talk about growing up, people that might have influenced you, and you've been and lived in different countries, so I'd like to know a little bit about that one. But how did it all begin for you?
Okay, I'm glad to talk about my background. I was born and grew up in the central part of China, which is where the Chinese culture started from. I graduated from high school at 16 and graduated from college in 19.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Now, is that unusual? Is that usual for China, or is that unusual?
I think I'm probably 1 year earlier than other children.
Mm-hmm.
And I graduated early. I started work in a hospital. If there's a time, and I will share more about the hospital in China, but I don't think that's a good thing.
But let's talk a little bit about your family before we go, before we put you to work. So siblings, parents, etc. What were they like? How did they influence you? How did you interact with them?
Since I was always away from home, I actually not often get homesick. So I stay in high school. Like what you say, kind of like a boarding school. Okay. I live in school. I don't go home. Every Sunday, I stay in a classroom by myself. I enjoy that time. And my family influence, I didn't realize my father had a sense of humor until in later years, and he was having a stroke and living stay in a rehab center. I taking care of him for 1 month. And then at that time, I talk with him, he sing a song, and he recite all those poems he remember. He had a sense of humor, and he is very smart. He can beat all those young people in chess, the Chinese chess.
Okay.
He's smart. I never know when I had my one humorist speak in Toastmasters Club, I was thinking how I get this humor by myself. And then I know, okay, that's from my father.
Okay.
Yeah. And my mother is another big influence in me, even though I don't spend much time with her. I spend more time with my mother-in-law than with my own mother. And later on, she helped me, and I know where my life learning skill and willingness from. That was from her. And she, one time when she found a chance to go to church, so she started to go to church by somebody introduced her to go to church. What she get from church was she can, as a person never go to school, end up with, she can read the Bible, some paragraph. Of course, she don't, but just by going to church, she learned how to read. And every time I read a paragraph to her, and the next time when I talk to her, she can say that back to me. And she continue learning. And one example I want to share was, and she often told others, she will say, oh, my son-in-law, she used the name, I don't want to mention the name. He said, my son-in-law teach me how to cook dumpling, for a senior lady in Chinese countryside. I don't think anyone will say that, will praise her son-in-law, will talk about that she learned something new at 80 years old.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So she
Right.
keep learning, she keep go to church, and she learning read, and she learn sing the hymns. And then she learned new things, how to take herself, taking her care of herself. And when I taught her pressure point, and she would do it. If I say do a 1 minute, she would do 2 minutes.
So she'd always get the best of it, but she really influenced you. But now let's talk a little bit about why were you at the boarding school at such an early age? Was it because of your intelligence that they saw, well, this young woman is going to be very special, so we want to get her in school? And you talked about being in school at the boarding school. You talked about being in the classroom by yourself. Was it just a thirst for knowledge? Is that what got you so going to school and advancing so quickly?
I didn't remember why, I get in there earlier. Probably I was smart. So my parents sent me to a school. Anyway, by that, my parents told me the first day I went to school, kindergarten or any school, I went to school, I come back with my own name. I named myself. I told them, oh, this is my name. I don't remember that. My parents telling me, because I have a nickname at home. I told them, oh, I have this name for myself. I didn't use that name often. Later on, only used for school. But after many, many years, I started my family or my village, people know my real name instead of my nickname. It's just I'm kind of different. I always stand out in the group, in any different school, different level of school.
Now, did your siblings go to boarding school too?
They went to they went to home during the weekend, but I just even stay there during the weekend. I don't go home.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. So, but you were going to talk about school, and then you were talking about going to school and things like that. High school, graduating at 16, graduating from college at 19. So at 19, what did you do after you graduated?
Okay. I make a decision after I graduate. For me, in college, I get, we also call it doctor. Seems like in American, a nursing practitioner, because we are junior doctor. We're not a real, the high doctor, have a intensive training. We have only 3 years. So at least I have that, we call the prescription privilege, like the nurse practitioner do. And then I give up that one in order to go to a bigger city. Yeah, so I work as a nurse since the very beginning. I never use my prescription privilege, and I don't regret it. I never regret that decision. Right. Yeah, and also there was a nurse brought me to Saudi Arabia, and when I think it is when Saudi Arabia and China started a relationship at the early 90s. So the health department of China sent a group of nurses went to Saudi Arabia. Yeah, so we were sent by government, and government get our salary, give us half. But anyway, that's how that work. So I was there over a year, and I come return to Guangzhou, a different city. It's more advanced, more open at that time. I went back there. I stayed there for around 10 years, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a chance I visited my friend in Sacramento.
Okay.
And at that time, there was a nurse shortage. I tried taking the nursing board. I passed the board, and then I stayed. Yeah, that's how I get to United States, get a stay in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
I came to Sacramento, I stayed. I never go to live in different city.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all attributed to my lifelong learning. After I graduated from college, I continued learning. At that time was English.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not so sure at that time what study English can lead me to. But I just like learning. I learned something new because the English is something new to me.
Right.
We learn very little in college or in high school. So that's new to me. So I started learning. That was by a radio correspondence course.
Okay.
Like you have a radio, so we have a connection here.
Mm-hmm.
I started learning course through the radio 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So
was it hard to learn English?
Yeah.
It was? Okay.
Yeah, it is hard to learn. At the beginning, we learn the book. We learn English as a subject, not the language too. That's why so many Chinese can write, can read, but cannot talk. Okay. Yeah, that got me too. When I get an immigration process, I need an English test, the TOEFL test. But at that time, the spoken English was separate. Every time I have to go to San Francisco, take the test. If I fail one, I need to wait 3 months. I failed 6 times. Okay. Yeah. But that is not because my communication or my language. It's just because the way I have to speak to a machine. But even now, now I talk to the machine, at least I can see your face. I'm not nervous, and I can talk about relaxed. But at that time, I talked to a tape recorder. So that make me nervous. That beep in between questions make me nervous. I don't know what to say. Even I know, but that, can get me. Right. So yeah, anyway, that I continue work in the hospital, in the nursing home, then in the hospital. I work now as an oncology nurse right now.
Well, that's great. Now, let's talk about the oncology nursing and what that's been like for you, and how you got into holistic coaching and how you got into aromatherapy. So walk us through that, from nursing to these other things that you're doing. Okay, I'm glad to talk about that. When I'm working with a cancer patient, I see their suffering. And not only they are suffering from the disease, they suffer from all kind of, when they hear that the doctor tell them, for the oncology nurse, oncology patient, sometimes they will hear the word the doctors tell them, we have nothing else can do for you. So then doctor stay there for a few minutes, explain to them, it is a nurse. We have to follow up with how they take in the information, how they process the information. I see that frustration, I see the suffering from there. Think about when a person lying in bed and heard that there was nothing we can do, how frustrated, how hopeless it is. I feel like
we can do something. I studied holistic many years ago. So I know there is, even though what they talk about, we cannot do anything, which means no chemotherapy, no, sometimes even no radiation, no surgery, that's for sure. But we still can care them holistically. We can care how they help their emotions, how they give them hope from the care, from a compassion the nurse present. So that's what I have been doing. I remember one patient, very young, 21 years old. He was, had a kind of cancer and had anemia. And he had a pale, very pale skin to start with, very white, light skin. And when that anemic, he's so pale. One day I could not facing him. That was early year when I working in oncology. I could not working with him. That was so painful to look at him at that young age. He was talk about go in the college doing the biology. That day I had to switch with another nurse. I could not see that. Through these years, I see the people dying, so many people dying, and we don't have the time to process the grief. It's just one person died, we bag them up, send to the morgue, and then another patient come right away. So leave us no time to grieve ourselves, sometimes maybe even clear ourselves. I see so many. I feel like sometimes, even though those cancer patients go home, they can still do something. So I teach them self-care. I will finish my 6-week class in a cancer support group next Monday. And I teach them self-care modality. But most important thing is I teach them how to look at the cancer, how to live with the cancer, how to cope with the cancer. I told them cancer is not something invasive to you. It is your inner child. It's part of you. It's your child become wild. Let's say the chemotherapy or surgery or radiation are strong. That's a way to discipline a child. And as a holistic care, holistic nursing, we taking care of ourselves. We provide, we give the child love. We clean the house. We make a clean, loving, warm environment for the child, for the person, for you to live with the cancer, with the wild child. Eventually, this child will behave well, and either maybe do too much damage, you probably transit to another world. That's okay, but at least you are transit smoothly. You don't have the hate, don't have the angry. You process your emotion. I teach them how to process each emotions. All these emotions are there for us to have. For the human, we have anger, we have worry, we have fear, we have excitement, we have passiveness. All these emotions for us to have, we need to process that naturally. If we don't process properly, that emotion will cause problem, cause cancer. There's many people, talk to me. They said cancer actually is a wake-up call for them. They learn so much for themselves. They learn to slow down, to listen to their body. That's what I want the people to know. Before you get the cancer, before you get any ailment, you taking care of yourself. Once your body send a signal, you listen to that, you feel it, and you express it, then your body will not broken.
Right. So what would be a signal that a person could possibly pick up on that would kind of help them from maybe helping them to change their ways? What would be a signal, or maybe that they might be able to recognize?
Okay, for example, like angry.
Okay.
When you're angry, sometimes you get a headache.
Mm-hmm.
And the headache is from angry, it's not from something else. And the headache can be from other emotion. You are thinking too much. Sometimes you have, maybe somebody have a chest pain, not maybe chest pain, even the shoulder pain. Sometimes the heart attack can start from a shoulder pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if the people, recently I heard a nurse, had a 2 artery blockage, okay, and collapsed, has to be CPR, kept revived from there.
Right.
So the body should have some kind of signal, always, if they feel. And if you don't feel it, when the signal is small, if it will keep come up, right, like the cancer. Oftentimes for the solid cancer, they grow many, many years. They might give you some discomfort at the beginning. For example, some stomach discomfort, your acid reflux, and you need taking care of them, take care of them. The anti-acid medicine, on the information, they all said, don't take over 3 months, but the people take it years. Mm-hmm. So that's not supposed to do. They give you this medication, give you other problem.
Right.
Give you kidney problem. Yeah.
But
so
no, let me ask you this question. You're teaching these classes. Tell me about these classes. Is it other physicians that are in the class, or is it patients that are in the class that you teach?
That's all the cancer survivors. Okay. Some they are finished treatment, some are still on treatment. They come to my class. I talk about, I use the knowledge background of Chinese medicine and the Western medicine. I'm here. So I use the Chinese principle, talk about emotions. Okay. And I talk about connection between organs, between systems. And I talk about cancer biologies. What's the cancer? I use the analogy, the common knowledge everybody can understand. Mm-hmm. That's one of the analogy I use is cancer as your wild child. Okay. So you don't kill your child, you work with a child. You discipline first, and then you give the love, and you clean the house, make a loving environment for the child. For you to grow. Okay. Yeah. So that's I teach. I started from the biology, analogy. I talk 7 emotions. Okay. Yeah. I talk about one time is pure for aromatherapy. Okay. Aromatherapy is included in my class. So as a gift to each participant. I'm not selling the essential oil blend. I'm giving as a gift. So after I interact with them for a few weeks, I understand some of that, what they need. But since it's a group, I cannot go deeper than too personal. But from the information I get from the group, I come up with some 4 essential oils for each one. Okay. I brought the oils for them to smell each one. So if they said, okay, I want them to list 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want, which one is you most like? You know, when you like that smell, it will work for you.
Okay.
Yeah, it will not work if you don't even like the smell. So I get some, you know, some people like them all. Okay. Some people said, okay, I don't like this one. And so I will introduce another one. Oh, how about this one? You know, they like that. So 1, 2, 3. So I blind that the concentration of each one based on their likeness. So if they like that most, that's more powerful. So I give a more concentration of that one. You know, other than will be a complement into that. So I leave that one. That's not all the aromatherapists, you know, do that way. We have a different way to blind. We base that on the note. We base that on the part of the oils. But I feel like I want to include this one, how they smell it, how the person interact with oil. When they interact well, they get more power from that. So they get more healing from the essential oil. So that what I did for them. And the next Monday will be my last class. And we will wrap up with everyone come up with their routine, what modality. I talk them a different pressure point. I give them essential oil and ask them, you know, what's their routine, what pressure point, what movement they can incorporate in their life.
Right.
Yeah. What I teach is not, you don't need to spend a lot of time on that.
Right.
Just a few minutes, just pressure point, the pressure point, and or do some really simple. For example, I said there was one movement, one that they typing on the surface.
Tapping, okay.
Yeah, typing on the surface. It's a different. All this pressure point on your fingertip. So tapping can help with worry, with their fear. Yeah, I teach them very simple, very easy to get it. They don't feel burdened by all these programs. They are getting all this. And about the food, I don't say, okay, you need to eat this food or that food. No. What do you eat? And you want to go to the grocery store, and in each category, in the meat category, the protein, in the vegetable, fruit category, and in dairy, that's also protein. And in all these categories, you choose what you like.
And what's best for you. Now, what we have to do, Nan, it's unbelievable. But the half hour's almost up. But what you've done is you have whetted our appetites to learn more.
Yeah.
So if people want to learn more about what you do, what would be a way for them to get a hold of you? Do you have a website, Instagram, Facebook? How do people get a hold of you to learn more about what you've got us excited about?
I have a website, but there's an easy way. I have, there was a number, like a phone number.
Okay.
You text DR, that's Dr. Nen, Nen, to a number 866-866-5545. You text to Dr. Nen, DRNEN, to 866-866-5545, and you will get a link. You click the link, you will see my website. You can click on the website or leave a comment or make an appointment. You can get a hold of me.
Excellent.
That's an easy way.
So like I said, so we're going to make sure we get all this on the tape so we can definitely hear it on the radio too. But Nen, thank you so much for that information. It's a wealth of information for us. It's going to help out a lot of people. So thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you so much.
And folks, this is the Edward Jones, Certified Life Coach. If you want to learn more about what I do, go to ProDestinyCoaching.com and take the quiz and get a free consultation. So till then, you have a great day, but most of all, remember, relationships work for those who work on them. Have a great day.
Thank you. I like what you said.
Okay, good. Okay, well, that's good. So we are going to